welcome back to Unimonks. My name is Padmanjali Chauhan and I'll be teaching you for the CUET history domain. Today we have reached the last part of our Harappan civilization chapter. Alright, last stretch guys, let's do it. Today we're going to be talking about seals, scripts and weights. Alright, seals and sealings were used for long distance communication. We've established that seals were found in Mesopotamia, in Oman, everywhere. Alright. Seals have a line of writing and motifs. That was in my first episode, right? In my first episode, I told you that the seals, a picture of them is here, had small writings on them plus motifs, right? Animal motifs. Using these animal motifs, we deciphered the said seals, correct? Now, the inscriptions written on the seals are short, right? Maximum 5-6 letters, correct? Next, the script, alright? The script, as I told you before, till date remains undeciphered. But we know one thing, that it was not alphabetical, alright? Because we have figured out, the archaeologists have figured out that there were about 350 to 400 characters in the said script, alright? Characters like this, alright? These are also characters, alright? These are not alphabet. Or more correctly, these are not the letters, alright? These are just characters, okay? The script was written from the right to the left, alright? Let me erase this for you. The script was written from the right to the left, alright? Writing has not just been found on seals, but it has been found on copper tools, on jewelry, on bone rods, alright? Bone rods. And remember guys, that the writing may have also been written on perishable materials. I told you, right, wood with time perishes, right, it decays, but we cannot forget that there may have been writing on wood materials as well, okay? The next thing are the weights. I have told you this multiple times. I've reiterated it almost, I think, 100 times by this point. The weights were of a standardized size throughout the civilization, alright? These are the weights I was talking about. This sort of weighing system was found throughout the civilization, whether it was Harappa, whether it was Mohenjo-daro, anywhere, okay? Chanhu-daro, anywhere, okay? Weights were used to regulate exchange, obviously. They were made out of chert. Now you are going to comment down below and tell me what exactly is chert, okay? Next, they were of a cubical shape. Clearly, this is a cube, right? They were of a cubical shape and they had no markings on them. Obviously, you can clearly see no markings on any of these. Now, the weights of lower denominations were of binary numbers, okay? So, they were 1, 2, 4, 8, all the way going up to 12,800, alright? And weights of higher denomination were they followed the decimal system, okay? So 1.2, probably 2.4, something like that, alright? The next thing we're going to talk about is ancient authority. Guys, I've talked about this before, over and over, right? Uniform weighing system, standardized size of bricks, okay? Planned settlements. This has to mean that they probably had some sort of government, some sort of ruler, right? Now, there is no records of a center of power, okay? Nothing written per se about a center of power, okay? No building that makes us believe that this might have been a government office or this might have been a palace, nothing like that, okay? A stone statue of a said priest king has been found, okay? We'll look at the statue a little further into the video, but it has been called the priest king by the archaeologists because they have drawn parallels from Mesopotamia. Now, Mesopotamia had a concept called priest kings, and that is why archaeologists and historians believe that probably Harappa also had priest kings as well. Alright, now rituals existed, but they're not very well understood by anybody, by archaeologists, by historians, nobody. Okay, but a question arises, did these ritual performers have any sort of political power? Nobody knows. The question till date remains unanswered. Let's get into the theories, okay? So now there are multiple theories on the division of power. Some archaeologists believe that there was no ruler, okay? Everybody was equal. Everybody came together collectively and thought about the standardized brick system, the weighing system, the planned settlements, the drainage system, all of that, okay? The people who lived in these cities thought about all of this, okay? Some archaeologists, on the other hand, believe that there was no single ruler, okay? Every city had its own separate ruler, okay? So a separate ruler for Mohenjo-daro, separate one for Harappa, okay? Separate one for Lothal, separate one for Dholavira, separate one in Kalibangan, something like that, okay? Now the last theory and the most widely believed theory is that there was a single state, okay? Now, we know the Harappan civilization is a very widespread civilization, okay? But let's talk about how they might have had a single state probably. So let's take the example of India. India is one single country, right? Many states, many cultural differences, but one single country. We have one central government, okay? Similarly, it is believed that the Harappans probably also had one single state, because as I reiterate this once again, uniformity in weights, brick size, similarity in artifacts, okay? The planned settlements, all of these points, right? That there was one single power. Now it might have been a group of men, okay? Or it might have been one ruler, anything, but one single state, okay? That made all of these decisions. Now, moving on from all of this, we come to the end of the civilization. We've talked about the artifacts, the agriculture, the craft production, the trade, the ancient authority, the weights, the seals, the bricks, everything, okay? But how did the civilization end? By the 1800 BCE, most mature IVC sites had been abandoned. When you go back to the timeline, this is what I've said as well, okay? New settlements started coming up in Gujarat, Haryana and UP, okay? There was a change in the material culture of the sites that were occupied till after 1900 BCE. Now what do I mean by this? What material culture? Material culture like seals, the artifacts, okay? They started disappearing. The script disappeared, okay? Standardized weighing system has been abandoned, has been stopped, okay? Cities have been abandoned. The construction technique, what I've been talking about, the beautifully built houses, the very well mechanically, technically built houses, that construction technique is also stopped, okay? There is evidence that indicates that they moved to a rural way of life, all right? Craft production is left, okay? No more producing beads, no more making necklaces out of it, none of that. Everything is now dependent on agriculture. Life, complete sustenance is dependent on agriculture. That is what happened in the late IVC. Now, what are the theories for this? There are several explanations. Climate change, deforestation, floods, drying and shifting of rivers, right? I talked about this. Overuse of land. All of this might be a reason, okay? They are plausible explanations, but none of this explains the collapse of an entire civilization, okay? None of this explains Harappa also collapsing and Lothal also collapsing, okay? And Nageshwar and Balakot collapsing, right? Because not all of it could have happened together at the same time, correct? Anyway, we might never get the answer, but the explanations have to be enough for us. We are coming at the end, okay? How were the finds classified? Now, obviously, as I said before, organic material did not survive. Wood did not survive. Okay, bones sort of survived. Some did, some didn't. Okay. Now, only stone, burnt clay, metal, etc. survived. Okay. Finds were classified in terms of three things. Number one, material. What material were they made out of? Next, the functions that the artifacts held, right? Functions like, what was it, a pot? Was it jewelry? Okay, something like jewelry, right? What functions did it hold for the regular person? Secondly, the situational context it was found in, right? Was it found in a house? Was it found in a grave? Was it found in the drain, right? This is also one of the ways that the finds were classified in, okay? The next thing, how they found out more information about the Harappans was using indirect evidence, okay? Now we know the Harappans grew cotton, okay? So we know that they probably wore clothes of cotton, okay? Wore clothes of cotton, right? But what sort of clothes? Was it a t-shirt and a pant? Okay, how was that? Was it one long piece of cloth like a sari and draped? How was it done? This we find out, or sorry, archaeologists find out by using seals, okay? That is a very bad interpretation of a seal, but it is sort of, okay? Think of it, this is the seal. Archaeologists use seals to find out how the particular piece of cloth was worn, okay? What was their traditional way of dressing, all right? Now, they've also developed a frame of reference, okay? As we talked about before, when the first Harappan seal was found, they did not know what to do with it, okay? They did not know that it was a Harappan seal. But when compared to Harappan seals found in Mesopotamia, they realized that, oh, these seals belong to the same civilization, right? Similar seals were found in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Figured out, same civilization, right? This is how a frame of reference was built, okay? Last part, the very, very last part of this chapter, the problems of interpreting all the artifacts that were found, okay? Number one, the most evident problem of interpretation is in the reconstruction of religious practices, all right? Unfamiliar objects that they could not find any relevance for. Not relevance, but they could not figure out what it meant. They were thought to be of a religious significance, okay? For example, this is the terracotta figurine of a woman, okay? She is heavily ornated. She's wearing a headdress, right? So archaeologists believe that she might have been the mother goddess, okay? Something that the Harappans probably prayed to. Another priest king, talked about it before, Mesopotamia had priest kings, so probably Harappans also had priest kings. Next, the Great Bath. When I was teaching you this, I told you that the archaeologists believe that the Great Bath probably had some sort of ritualistic significance. Sorry. Now, multiple seals were examined, obviously. Some had plant motifs on them, okay? This led archaeologists to believe that they probably worshipped nature. Another is of the Proto-Shiva, okay? I'll show it to you in the next slide. Proto-Shiva is of a man sitting in a yogic posture with animals surrounding him. So, people believe, historians and archaeologists believe that it might be indicating to a sort of Proto-Shiva, okay? Now, all these assumptions are made because archaeologists and historians believe that later traditions provide a sort of parallel between the earlier traditions, okay? For example, what happens today is sort of parallel to what happened thousands of years ago, okay? This is how we come to the end of the chapter, guys. This is the end. Let me show you the pictures of the priest king, right? Ornated little robe he's wearing, okay? This some sort of armband he's wearing, the little headgear, okay? Beard and all of that makes him sort of look like a priest, okay? That is why, and like the stiff posture, that makes people archaeologists believe that he was probably the priest king. Okay. Then is the Proto-Shiva seal, right? Yogic posture, man, animal surrounding him, right? Something written here, but we haven't figured that out yet. So, believed to be Proto-Shiva. Alright? That's it for today, guys. That's it for this chapter. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to study more chapters with me, like this video, put a comment down below for all the questions that I've asked you. What is CUET, right? Give me an answer for that question. And for more such content, subscribe to Unimonks. Bye!